Have you ever wondered how a small community, born on the banks of the Ravi River, grew into one of the most remarkable forces in world history? The story of the Sikhs is not just about faith, it is about courage, resilience, and a legacy that has shaped nations across the globe. From humble beginnings in Punjab to a global presence today, their journey is unlike any other in history. Stay with us, because in this series we will uncover the untold chapters of Sikh heritage, stories of wisdom, migration, challenges, and triumphs that continue to inspire millions. And if you love exploring hidden gems of history, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video so more people can discover the incredible legacy of the Sikhs. When we speak about the history of the Sikhs, we are not just talking about a religion or a group of people. We are talking about a movement that was born in the heart of northern India, in the fertile plains of Punjab, and grew into one of the most inspiring stories of human resilience and spiritual discovery. The story begins more than 500 years ago, in the late 15th century, when the land of Punjab was a crossroads of cultures, religions, and empires. Punjab, which means the land of 5 rivers, was a place of great abundance and beauty. The rivers Sutlej, Beas, Ravi, Chenab, and Jhelum flowed through the region, making its soil rich and its fields fertile. Farmers harvested wheat, barley, and rice, while traders carried goods along the ancient routes that connected Central Asia to the Indian subcontinent. Yet beneath this prosperity, the people of Punjab also lived in uncertainty. Empires rose and fell quickly in this region. In one generation it might be ruled by Hindu kings, in another by Muslim sultans, and later by the mighty Mughal emperors. With shifting rulers came shifting policies, heavy taxes, and religious divisions. It was into this world of constant change and deep spiritual searching that a child named Nanak was born in the year 1469. From the beginning, Nanak was different. He was curious, thoughtful, and full of compassion. While other children played in the fields, he asked questions about life, about truth, and about God. His family belonged to a merchant caste, and his father expected him to grow into a trader. But Nanak's mind was not set on profit or business. It was set on understanding the mysteries of the soul. As Nanak grew older, he traveled widely. He listened to Hindu saints, Muslim Sufis, and wandering mystics. He spent long hours in meditation near rivers and forests. Then, one day, after disappearing for several days, Nanak returned with a message that would change history. He declared, "There is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, there is only one God, and we are all His children." This statement was revolutionary. At a time when society was divided by religion, caste, and power, Nanak spoke of unity, equality, and oneness. This vision became the foundation of Sikhism. Nanak, now known as Guru Nanak, taught that God is not confined to temples or mosques, that no priest or ruler can control truth, and that true spirituality lies in living honestly, sharing with others, and remembering the divine at all times. He rejected rituals that had lost their meaning, and instead emphasized meditation on God's name, hard work, and service to humanity. His words spread quickly, carried by his followers across villages and towns. But Guru Nanak was not a preacher of words alone. He lived what he taught. When he saw hunger, he opened his home and created the tradition of langar, a free community kitchen where anyone, regardless of religion, caste, or wealth, could sit side by side and eat together. This practice of equality was not just symbolic. It was revolutionary in a society where people were often separated by birth and social status. Through langar, Guru Nanak showed that the path to God was through compassion, humility, and service. Over time, Guru Nanak gathered a group of devoted followers who were called Sikhs, meaning learners or disciples. These early Sikhs were not bound by complicated rituals or rigid rules. Instead, they were bound by love for truth, devotion to one God, and commitment to living an honest, generous life. They sang hymns composed by Guru Nanak, hymns filled with poetry that spoke of the vastness of creation and the closeness of the divine. Music became central to Sikh practice because it touched the heart and connected the soul to God in ways that mere logic could not. The early Sikh community was small but strong. They lived in villages across Punjab, farming the land, working as artisans, or trading in markets, all while keeping Guru Nanak's teachings in their hearts. They called their gatherings sangat, or holy congregation, where men and women, rich and poor, sat together as equals to sing hymns and share food. In a world divided by hierarchy, this community of equality shone like a light. But the story of Sikhism's origins is not only the story of Guru Nanak, it is also the story of the land and people of Punjab. The rivers and fields shaped their daily lives, and the constant movement of armies and traders shaped their resilience. The Sikhs were born into a land of crossroads where Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, and folk traditions had blended for centuries. Out of this mixture, Sikhism emerged not as an imitation, but as a unique path, simple, direct, and deeply human. When Guru Nanak passed away in the year 1539, he left behind not a kingdom, not a treasure, but a living community, and a set of teachings that would guide generations. Before his death, he chose a successor, Guru Angad, making sure that the flame of truth would not end with him, but would continue through a line of teachers known as the Sikh Gurus. This system of succession ensured that Sikhism would not be tied to one person, but would remain alive through living wisdom. Looking back, it is remarkable to see how the origins of Sikhism carried the seeds of everything that was to come. The principles of equality, service, honesty, and devotion would later give the Sikhs strength to face emperors, to build empires, and to survive exile. But at its heart, the story began with a simple man, Guru Nanak, walking through the villages of Punjab, singing songs of love for God and love for humanity. Episode 1 closes with a vision. Imagine a young Guru Nanak standing by the banks of the river Ravi, his voice rising in song, his eyes filled with light, and villagers gathering around him. They do not see him as Hindu or Muslim, rich or poor. They see him as a teacher of truth, a man who carried a message larger than himself, that all of humanity is one family, and that in remembering the divine we find the strength to live with dignity and compassion. This was the beginning. This was the seed. From this moment, the Sikhs would grow into a community that not only survived the storms of history, but also left an everlasting mark on the world. The story of the Sikhs did not end with Guru Nanak. In fact, it was only the beginning of a remarkable journey. After his passing in the year 1539, Guru Nanak's followers faced a question that many spiritual movements face. How would they continue without their founder? Guru Nanak had already prepared for this moment. Before his death, he appointed his disciple Bhai Lena as his successor, giving him the name Guru Angad. With this act, Sikhism became more than a set of teachings. It became a living tradition guided by a line of gurus. Guru Angad carried Nanak's vision forward, but also gave it structure. He introduced the Gurmukhi script, which would later be used to record Sikh scriptures. This was not just a matter of letters, it was a matter of identity. By giving the Sikhs their own written script, Guru Angad gave them a cultural foundation that distinguished them from others in Punjab. He also strengthened the practice of langar, ensuring that every Sikh community had a free kitchen where people of all backgrounds could eat together. Through these actions, he showed that Sikhism was not only about spiritual truth but also about creating a community that lived by those truths. When Guru Angad passed away, the leadership moved to Guru Amar Das, the third Guru. He was already an old man when he became Guru, but his wisdom and determination were extraordinary. He expanded the institution of langar, insisting that even powerful leaders had to sit on the floor with ordinary villagers before meeting him. This practice was a clear message. In the house of the Guru, all were equal. Guru Amar Das also encouraged women to take leadership roles within the Sikh community, at a time when women were often excluded from positions of respect. His actions planted seeds of gender equality that remain central to Sikh life today. The next in line was Guru Ram Das, the fourth Guru, who founded the city of Amritsar. At its center, he began the construction of a sacred pool that would later become the site of the Golden Temple, the most important shrine in Sikhism. His successor, Guru Arjan, completed the temple and also compiled the first edition of Sikh scripture, the Adi Granth. This scripture was unique because it included not only the hymns of Sikh gurus, but also the writings of Hindu saints and Muslim Sufis. By bringing together voices from different faiths, Guru Arjan showed that Sikhism was not a narrow path, but a universal one. By this time, the Sikh community had grown significantly. Farmers, artisans, traders, and scholars all became part of the Sangat, or holy congregation. They gathered to sing hymns, share food, and listen to the words of the gurus. Music became central, with the use of stringed instruments and rhythmic beats to bring the hymns alive. These gatherings were not only religious ceremonies, they were celebrations of life, unity, and spirit. In villages across Punjab, Sikh identity was taking shape, built on devotion, equality, and courage. Yet this growth also brought challenges. The Mughal Empire, which ruled most of India at that time, began to see the Sikhs as a community that could not be easily controlled. Guru Arjan, in particular, drew suspicion because of his influence and the devotion he inspired. He faced pressure from the Mughal rulers and eventually endured great suffering. His calm acceptance of hardship left a deep impression on the Sikhs, teaching them that faith was not only about joy, but also about courage in the face of adversity. His example became a turning point, giving Sikhism a spirit of resilience that would carry it through centuries of struggle. The next Guru, Guru Hargobind, responded to these challenges in a new way. While he continued the spiritual mission of his predecessors, he also introduced the concept of Miri and Piri, temporal and spiritual authority. He wore two swords to symbolize that Sikhs must balance devotion to God with the responsibility to protect justice in the world. He built the Akal Takht, or the Throne of the Timeless One, as a place where Sikhs could discuss not only spiritual matters but also issues of governance and defense. Under his leadership, the Sikhs began to see themselves as both saints and soldiers, a community of peace that was also prepared to defend itself. As generations passed, the gurus continued to guide the Sikhs with wisdom, courage, and vision. Each guru added something new to the growing identity of the Sikhs. Guru Har Rai, the seventh guru, was known for his kindness and his deep love for nature. Guru Har Krishan, who became guru at a very young age, was remembered for his humility and compassion. Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth guru, gave his life defending the right of others to practice their faith freely. His sacrifice was not only for Sikhs, but for all who believed in freedom of conscience. Through these actions, the Sikhs earned respect as defenders of justice and protectors of the weak. The classical age of Sikhism culminated with Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru. He transformed the Sikhs into the Khalsa, a community of the pure, bound by a code of discipline, courage, and faith. But the story of the Khalsa belongs to the next episode, when the Sikhs would rise as a powerful force in history. Looking back at the classical period, we can see how Sikh identity was carefully built step by step. Guru Nanak laid the foundation of unity and truth. Guru Angad gave the Sikhs their own script. Guru Amar Das brought equality and strength to the community. Guru Ram Das and Guru Arjan gave them a spiritual center in Amritsar and a sacred scripture that united diverse voices. Guru Hargobind taught them to balance prayer with action, while the later gurus deepened their commitment to compassion and justice. By the time Guru Gobind Singh arrived, the Sikhs were no longer just a small group of disciples. They were a community with their own language, their own scripture, their own city, and their own vision of life. Episode 2 closes with a powerful image, the shimmering waters of the sacred pool at Amritsar, reflecting the early morning light as voices rise in hymn. Men and women, young and old, farmers and merchants, rich and poor, all sit together in harmony, their heads covered, their hearts lifted in song. This is not just a ritual. It is the heart of Sikh identity, a living community built on devotion, equality, and courage. The classical age gave the Sikhs their soul, their structure, and their strength, a foundation that would prepare them for the challenges and triumphs yet to come. By the time the Sikh community entered the 17th century, it had already established its own rhythm of life. There were sacred gatherings, holy hymns, community kitchens, and cities that shone with new faith. Yet the Sikhs were never isolated. Punjab, their homeland, was a crossroads where many cultures, empires, and religions met. The winds that blew across this land carried not only traders and soldiers, but also ideas, influences, and challenges that would shape Sikh history forever. Punjab's location made it a bridge between Central Asia and the Indian subcontinent. From the west came waves of traders carrying spices, textiles, and stories. From the east came pilgrims and scholars. From the north marched armies that dreamed of conquering India. Each group left its mark, and the Sikhs, though rooted in their own identity, interacted with all of them. These interactions were not always peaceful, yet they played a vital role in shaping the Sikh spirit of resilience and openness. One of the strongest influences during this period was the presence of the Mughal Empire. At its height, the Mughal court in Delhi dazzled the world with its wealth, architecture, and art. The emperors built magnificent palaces and mosques, filled their treasuries with riches, and employed poets, musicians, and scholars. But their rule was not always gentle. For the common people of Punjab, Mughal taxation was heavy, and religious divisions sometimes deepened under imperial policies. The Sikhs, with their growing reputation for equality and independence, often found themselves at odds with this mighty empire. The relationship between the Sikhs and the Mughals shifted with each ruler. Some emperors were tolerant, allowing the Sikhs to practice their faith freely. Others saw the growing Sikh community as a challenge to their authority. Guru Arjan's martyrdom under Mughal suspicion was one of the earliest signs that the Sikhs would not escape imperial pressure. Later, Guru Hargobind's decision to embrace both spiritual and temporal authority reflected this reality. The Sikhs could not remain only peaceful worshippers. They also needed to defend their right to exist. Beyond political pressures, there was also spiritual influence. The land of Punjab was alive with the voices of Muslim Sufis, Hindu bhakti saints, and wandering mystics. These teachers often preached love for God, devotion beyond rituals, and the unity of humanity. Guru Nanak himself had drawn wisdom from both Sufis and Bhaktas, weaving their insights into his own teachings. The Sikh scripture, the Adi Granth, preserved this spirit by including hymns not only from Sikh gurus, but also from Hindu and Muslim saints. This openness to outside voices was unusual in an age when many faiths guarded their boundaries tightly. It gave Sikhism a universal flavor, a sense that truth could shine through many paths. Trade also brought its influence. Caravans moved across Punjab, carrying salt, silk, and horses. Merchants stopped at Sikh towns, ate in Sikh kitchens, and listened to Sikh hymns. Some became curious, others became followers. In this way, the message of the gurus spread far beyond the borders of Punjab, reaching distant lands. Economic interaction strengthened the community too, as Sikh farmers, artisans, and traders found new opportunities in a connected world. At the same time, foreign invasions left scars. From the northwest, raiders sometimes swept across Punjab, leaving villages in ruin. The people of the land, Sikhs among them, learned to endure hardship and rebuild quickly. These experiences deepened the Sikh commitment to resilience. They could not control the winds that came from outside, but they could control how they responded, by standing firm in their faith, by helping one another, and by refusing to bow before injustice. Another outside influence came through migration. As the Sikh community grew, many Sikhs traveled to serve as soldiers, traders, or workers in different regions. They carried their faith with them, building small communities wherever they went. In return, they brought back stories, ideas, and practices from other lands. This exchange enriched Sikh culture, making it dynamic rather than rigid. The Sikhs were deeply rooted in their principles, yet flexible enough to adapt to new circumstances. Perhaps the most profound example of Sikh interaction with the outside world was the leadership of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth Guru. During his time, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb sought to enforce stricter religious policies. Communities such as the Kashmiri Pandits, who faced pressure to abandon their traditions, turned to Guru Tegh Bahadur for help. In an extraordinary act of courage, the Guru chose to defend not only his own faith but also the rights of others to practice theirs. His sacrifice became a defining moment, showing that the Sikhs would stand for freedom of conscience, not only for themselves but for all people. This was the essence of Sikh openness, to recognize truth and dignity wherever they appeared. By the late 17th century, these outside influences, political, spiritual, economic, and cultural, had deeply shaped the Sikh community. They had learned from Sufis and saints, resisted imperial oppression, traded with distant lands, and defended the freedom of others. But these winds of influence also prepared them for something greater. Under Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru, the Sikhs would take a decisive step. They would transform from a community of seekers into a disciplined brotherhood known as the Khalsa, ready to face the storms of history with unshakable courage. Episode 3 closes with the image of Punjab's fields at sunset, golden with wheat, while traders' caravans pass along dusty roads, Sufis sing their poetry under the stars, and the hymns of the Sikhs rise from a humble gurdwara. The world is pressing in on the Sikhs from every side. Empires, traders, mystics, and warriors, but instead of breaking under this pressure, the Sikhs are being shaped, like a river stone polished smooth by flowing water. Out of these influences, they are becoming something stronger, something unique, a people with a spirit open to the world, yet unyielding in their devotion to truth. By the close of the 17th century, the Sikhs had been molded by centuries of teaching, challenge, and outside influence. They had grown from the humble beginnings of Guru Nanak into a community with scripture, cities, and a powerful identity. Yet the greatest transformation was still to come. Under Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th and final human guru, the Sikhs would step into a new era, an era of discipline, courage, and unity that would prepare them to rise as a force in history. Guru Gobind Singh was born in the year 1666 in Patna, in the eastern part of India. His father, Guru Tegh Bahadur, was the ninth Guru, remembered for his sacrifice in defense of religious freedom. When Tegh Bahadur gave his life for the rights of others, the responsibility of leadership fell upon the young Gobind Rai, who was still a child at that time. Even in his youth, he displayed extraordinary qualities, intelligence, strength, and a sense of purpose far beyond his years. By the time he became guru, he understood clearly that the Sikhs could not survive by devotion alone. They would also need discipline, courage, and unity to stand against the forces that threatened them. In the year 1699, on the day of Vaisakhi, Guru Gobind Singh made a decision that would forever change Sikh identity. Gathering thousands of Sikhs at Anandpur Sahib, he called for volunteers willing to dedicate their lives completely to the faith. One by one, 5 men stepped forward, offering their loyalty and courage. Guru Gobind Singh initiated them into a new order called the Khalsa, the community of the pure. He gave each of them the surname Singh, meaning lion, as a symbol of bravery, while women of the Khalsa were given the name Kaur, meaning princess, to affirm dignity and equality. The Khalsa was bound by a code of discipline and 5 symbols, later known as the 5 Ks. Kesh, uncut hair; Kangha, a wooden comb; Kara, a steel bracelet; Kirpan, a small ceremonial sword; and Kachera, a special garment. These were not mere outward marks. They were symbols of identity, reminding Sikhs of their duty to live with courage, discipline, and devotion. The Khalsa represented the blending of saint and soldier, of prayer and action, of humility and strength. With this new identity, the Sikhs became more than a community of disciples. They became a brotherhood ready to defend justice and protect the weak. Guru Gobind Singh also made a revolutionary decision. He declared that after him there would be no more human gurus. Instead, the eternal Guru would be the Guru Granth Sahib, the scripture that contained the hymns of Sikh gurus and saints of many faiths. In this way, the authority of the Guru was placed forever in the sacred word, ensuring that the spirit of Sikhism would remain beyond the reach of human corruption. This decision gave the Sikhs both stability and independence, binding them to a living scripture that continues to guide them today. The transformation of the Sikhs into the Khalsa gave them new confidence. They faced countless struggles, yet they refused to be crushed. Guru Gobind Singh himself endured loss and hardship, but he never wavered. His teachings and leadership inspired the Sikhs to stand firm, even when outnumbered or oppressed. The image of the Khalsa spread across Punjab. Men and women who wore the symbols of their faith with pride, who worked hard in the fields, who gathered in prayer, and who stood ready to protect those in need. They were admired by some, feared by others, but always respected for their spirit. As the 18th century dawned, the Sikh community carried this new strength into the wider world. Though Guru Gobind Singh passed away in the year 1708, his vision lived on. The Sikhs organized themselves into groups called missals, each led by a chief. These missals were not only military units but also social organizations that kept Sikh identity alive in times of uncertainty. They defended villages, supported farmers, and ensured that the spirit of the Khalsa did not fade. Out of these missals eventually rose one of the greatest leaders in Sikh history, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Born in the year 1780, he united the missals into a single powerful Sikh empire. Known as the Lion of Punjab, Ranjit Singh created a kingdom that stretched from the Khyber Pass in the west to the Sutlej River in the east. His court in Lahore shone with beauty and sophistication. He welcomed people of many backgrounds, Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs, into positions of trust, showing that his empire was built on diversity and inclusiveness. Under his rule, the Golden Temple at Amritsar was covered with gold, giving it the radiance for which it is known today. The Sikh Empire under Ranjit Singh was not only militarily strong but also culturally vibrant. Art, music, and architecture flourished. Trade routes brought prosperity, and the people of Punjab enjoyed a period of stability after generations of struggle. At its peak, the empire was admired even by European powers for its discipline, organization, and progress. The Sikhs had grown from a small group of disciples into a major force in Asia, respected on the global stage. Yet even in this era of growth, the essence of Sikh identity remained the same: devotion to God, equality among all people, and courage in the face of challenge. Whether in the sacred halls of the Golden Temple, the bustling markets of Lahore, or the quiet fields of Punjab, the Sikhs carried with them the spirit of the Khalsa, born on that Vaisakhi day under Guru Gobind Singh. Episode 4 closes with the image of the Golden Temple shimmering in sunlight, its reflection dancing in the waters of the holy pool. Pilgrims gather in song, farmers bring offerings of grain, and soldiers in bright turbans stand watch, not in arrogance but in service. The Sikhs have risen. They are no longer only a community of disciples. They are a people, a power, a light of courage and faith in a world of shifting empires. The winds of growth have lifted them, preparing them for the storms yet to come. Every great rise in history is followed by a test. For the Sikhs, the 18th and 19th centuries brought both glory and grief. They had grown from disciples into a nation, from seekers into rulers. Under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Sikh Empire reached a height that few could have imagined. Yet after his passing, the empire began to crumble. Internal divisions, external pressures, and the arrival of the British in India cast long shadows over Punjab. What followed was one of the hardest periods in Sikh history, an age of crisis, loss, and endurance. Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Lion of Punjab, had united the Sikhs through wisdom and strength. His rule was marked by fairness, prosperity, and inclusiveness. But in the year 1839, when he passed away, there was no leader strong enough to fill his place. His empire, which had stretched from the mountains of Kashmir to the deserts of Sindh, began to fracture. Ambitious nobles competed for power, rival factions clashed, and the once united Sikh army became divided. The bonds that had held the missiles together weakened, and unity slipped away. At the same time, a new force was pressing into the subcontinent, the British East India Company. Already masters of Bengal and much of central India, the British looked toward Punjab with keen interest. They saw a rich land with fertile fields and strong soldiers. They also saw a kingdom weakened by internal struggles. Slowly, through treaties, diplomacy, and intrigue, they edged closer. The Sikhs, proud and independent, were unwilling to bow, but their disunity left them vulnerable. The First Anglo-Sikh War broke out in 1845. Despite their courage, the Sikhs faced a powerful enemy with modern weapons and disciplined troops. The battles were fierce, but the divided leadership of the Sikhs proved costly. After several defeats, the British forced harsh terms upon Punjab. Yet the spirit of the Khalsa could not be broken so easily. Only 4 years later, in 1848, the Second Anglo-Sikh War erupted. Once again, the Sikhs fought bravely, but the outcome was the same. The British, with their organized armies and vast resources, defeated the Sikh forces. In 1849, the Sikh Empire was officially annexed into British India. The dream of sovereignty was lost. For the Sikh people, this was a painful blow. They had known independence under Ranjit Singh. Now they were subjects under foreign rule. The British dismantled the structures of Sikh power, took control of forts, and reorganized the army to prevent rebellion. The famous Koh-i-Noor diamond, once part of Ranjit Singh's treasury, was taken to Britain as a symbol of conquest. Punjab, the land of 5 rivers, was now firmly under colonial administration. But even in crisis, the Sikhs showed remarkable resilience. Many adapted to the new order, serving in the British Indian Army with distinction. Sikh regiments became known for their discipline, loyalty, and bravery, earning respect on battlefields across Asia and beyond. The British recognized their value and relied heavily on Sikh soldiers in their campaigns. This military tradition gave Sikhs a new role, even in the midst of loss. At the same time, economic challenges weighed heavily on Punjab. The introduction of new taxes, land systems, and trade rules disrupted traditional life. Farmers struggled, artisans faced competition, and poverty deepened in many villages. Social tensions rose as old structures of leadership collapsed. Yet the Sikh spirit of community endured. The Gurdwaras remained centers of faith and support, offering food, shelter, and hope to those in need. The tradition of langar continued to shine as a reminder that even in hardship, equality and service must remain alive. The crisis was not only political and economic, but also cultural. With the fall of their empire, Sikhs feared the loss of their identity. Colonial pressures and modernization threatened traditional ways of life. Yet, instead of fading, Sikh identity became stronger. Reform movements arose within the community, calling for a return to the purity of Guru Nanak's teachings. The Singh Sabha movement of the late 19th century worked to revive Sikh practices, strengthen education, and preserve the distinct identity of the Sikhs in a changing world. Out of loss came renewal. There was also a global dimension to this period. Many Sikhs, facing limited opportunities at home, migrated abroad. Some went to Southeast Asia as traders or laborers. Others traveled to East Africa, Canada, and the United States, where they built new lives while holding tightly to their faith. These early migrants carried with them the resilience of their ancestors, planting the seeds of Sikh communities across the globe. In this way, crisis at home led to expansion abroad, preparing the Sikhs for their future role as a global people. The 19th century was also marked by moments of resistance. Some Sikhs refused to accept British rule quietly. Rebel groups rose, seeking to restore independence, though most were swiftly suppressed. These uprisings, though small, kept alive the memory of sovereignty and the dream of freedom. They also inspired later generations who would fight for India's independence in the 20th century. Looking at this period, we see a paradox. The Sikhs lost their empire, their independence, and much of their wealth. Yet they did not lose their spirit. In fact, crisis revealed their deepest strengths: resilience, adaptability, and faith. They endured defeat but transformed loss into opportunity. They served as soldiers, worked as farmers, migrated as pioneers, and rebuilt their community through education and reform. In every challenge, they found a way forward. Episode 5 closes with a scene of Punjab in the late 19th century. The fields still golden with wheat, the rivers still flowing, the villages alive with song and prayer. In the cities, Sikh reformers teach children to read the Gurmukhi script. In the countryside, farmers gather in the Gurdwara to share langar, sitting side by side as equals. Far away, Sikh migrants work on railways in Africa or cut lumber in Canada, writing letters home to their families. The empire is gone, but the community endures. Out of crisis, a new Sikh identity is taking shape, one that will carry them into the modern world. By the closing years of the 19th century, the Sikh community had weathered one of its most painful losses, the fall of its empire. Yet from the soil of hardship grew resilience. The British Raj now governed Punjab, but the Sikhs were not a people to vanish into silence. Instead, they adapted, transformed, and prepared for a new age of modernization. The story of the Sikhs in the 20th century is one of change, political, social, technological, and global. The seeds of renewal had already been planted through the Singh Sabha movement. Emerging in the 1870s, this movement sought to preserve Sikh identity in a rapidly modernizing India. Reformers recognized that education was the key to survival and progress. They founded schools that taught Sikh children not only modern sciences and literature but also the language and values of their own tradition. For the first time, young Sikhs could study both mathematics and the hymns of Guru Granth Sahib, both English and Gurmukhi. The blending of modern learning with spiritual depth gave the community a firm foundation. This era also witnessed the growth of Sikh journalism and printing. Newspapers in Punjabi spread ideas, connected distant communities, and gave voice to concerns under colonial rule. Pamphlets, tracts, and books allowed reformers to debate and share visions of a better future. The pen, once wielded in the courts of Ranjit Singh, now became a tool of cultural preservation and political awakening. Through the printed word, Sikhs reminded themselves and others that their faith was alive, distinct, and unbroken. The modernization of Punjab was not only intellectual but also economic. British engineers brought irrigation canals that transformed vast stretches of barren land into fertile fields. Sikh farmers, known for their hard work, embraced these new opportunities. Villages flourished. Wheat and cotton production increased, and prosperity returned to many rural families. At the same time, migration continued. As opportunities opened across the British Empire, Sikhs traveled abroad as soldiers, laborers, and entrepreneurs. From the fields of Malaya to the railroads of Canada, From the mines of Australia to the farms of East Africa, the Sikh presence expanded across the globe. This diaspora carried Punjabi culture to new continents and laid the foundation for truly international Sikh communities. Modernization also reshaped Sikh military service. The British valued Sikhs as loyal soldiers and recruited them in large numbers. Sikh regiments fought with distinction in wars far beyond Punjab. In the First World War, thousands of Sikhs served on the battlefields of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Their courage under fire earned respect and honor, though many also faced the harsh reality of sacrifice in foreign lands. Letters sent home from the trenches reveal both pride in service and longing for family and homeland. These soldiers were not merely fighting imperial battles, they were also forging a new global identity for the Sikhs. The interwar years brought political awakening. The memory of independence under Maharaja Ranjit Singh had not faded, and many Sikhs became active in the wider struggle for Indian self-rule. Some joined the Ghadar movement, a revolutionary effort launched by Sikh migrants in North America in the 19-teens. Inspired by ideals of freedom, they sought to overthrow British rule. Though their uprising was suppressed, their spirit of resistance echoed in later movements. In Punjab itself, Sikhs also led struggles for control of their gurdwaras, ensuring that these sacred spaces remained in the hands of the community and not under colonial-appointed managers. The Gurdwara reform movement of the 1920s symbolized both religious devotion and political assertion. The Second World War again saw Sikh regiments called upon to serve. They fought in Europe, North Africa, and Asia, earning a reputation for bravery and resilience. Yet the war also accelerated demands for independence in India. Sikhs found themselves at the center of a rapidly changing political landscape. As the British prepared to leave in 1947, the fate of Punjab hung in the balance. Partition came as both a dawn and a storm. India gained independence, but Punjab was divided between India and the new nation of Pakistan. For Sikhs, this was one of the most painful chapters in history. Ancient towns, gurdwaras, and ancestral lands suddenly lay across a border. Millions of Sikhs migrated eastward into India, leaving behind homes and memories in what became Pakistan. The trauma of displacement scarred many families, yet the community once again showed resilience. In new lands, they rebuilt their villages, tilled new fields, and re-established their gurdwaras. Within a generation, Sikh farmers helped turn Indian Punjab into the breadbasket of the nation. The decades that followed saw Sikhs embrace modernization even further. Green Revolution technologies in the 1960s brought high-yield seeds, tractors, and irrigation, transforming agriculture in Punjab. Sikh farmers stood at the forefront of this transformation, ensuring food security for millions across India. Prosperity grew, but so did challenges, as rapid change brought questions of sustainability, identity, and equity. Beyond farming, Sikhs advanced in education, industry, and politics. Sikh universities and colleges expanded, producing scholars, engineers, and professionals. Sikh leaders played vital roles in Indian politics, advocating for regional rights and cultural recognition. In cities across the world, from London to Vancouver, Sikh migrants built thriving communities. They established gurdwaras, opened businesses, and contributed to their new homelands while keeping alive the values of service, equality, and faith. Technology, too, reshaped Sikh life. Radios and cassettes carried the sound of kirtan into distant homes. Later, television and digital media connected Sikhs across continents, allowing them to share prayers, music, and discussions in ways unimaginable to earlier generations. What Guru Nanak had sung on the banks of the Ravi was now being heard in households across the globe, carried by satellites and screens. The modernization of the Sikh community was not without tension. Questions arose about how to balance tradition with change. Some worried that Western influences might erode Sikh identity, while others saw in modernization a path to global relevance. Yet the core values, faith in one Creator, equality of all, service to humanity, remained constant. In every era, Sikhs found ways to weave these principles into new contexts. By the end of the 20th century, the Sikhs stood as a global people. Their history of crisis and adaptation had prepared them for modern life. They were farmers feeding nations, soldiers serving with honor, entrepreneurs building businesses, and professionals excelling in science, medicine, and education. In every corner of the world, the sound of Shabad could be heard, the spirit of langar could be felt, and the image of the turban could be seen with pride. Episode 6 closes with a vision of the modern Sikh world. Children studying in classrooms where computers sit beside scriptures, farmers guiding tractors across fields watered by canals first dug in colonial times, families in Toronto, Nairobi, and Kuala Lumpur gathering in brightly lit gurdwaras, and young Sikhs balancing tradition and modernity as they step confidently into the future. Modernization had not erased their identity. It had carried it forward, adapting an ancient faith for a global age. Though the Sikh community has always been relatively small in number compared to other global populations, its impact on world history has been disproportionately large. From the days of the Gurus, Sikhs were taught that the path of righteousness was not confined to one land, one culture, or one language. By the 20th century, this principle took visible form as Sikh men and women left their villages in Punjab and carried their spirit of service, resilience, and courage across the globe. Their presence in every corner of the world made them not only part of Indian history, but also part of world history. One of the clearest ways Sikhs shaped global events was through their service in armies. By the early 20th century, Sikh regiments of the British Indian Army had earned a reputation for discipline and bravery. During the First World War, more than 100,000 Sikh soldiers served in campaigns across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. In the muddy trenches of Flanders, they fought alongside troops from across the empire. In the deserts of Mesopotamia, they endured harsh climates while holding the front lines. Their letters home, written in Gurmukhi, revealed both deep longing for Punjab and a steady commitment to duty. For many Europeans, it was the first time they saw a Sikh, and the image of the turbaned soldier left a lasting impression. The Second World War expanded this influence even further. Sikh regiments fought in North Africa, in Burma, and in Italy. They played crucial roles in battles that shifted the tide of the war. Their service was not only military, it was moral. The courage of Sikhs became a symbol of loyalty and sacrifice, showing that even a community without political sovereignty could command global respect through its values and actions. But the Sikh role in history was never limited to battlefields. Migration transformed Sikhs into pioneers in many parts of the world. In the early 20th century, thousands migrated to North America. They worked in lumber camps of British Columbia, on farms in California, and on railways across Canada. Though they faced discrimination and restrictive laws, they persevered. They built the first gurdwaras in North America, creating spaces that preserved their faith and welcomed newcomers. These gurdwaras were more than religious centers. They became community halls, schools, and even places of political discussion. Similar stories unfolded in East Africa, where Sikhs worked on railways that stretched across Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Engineers, soldiers, and traders alike contributed to the building of new societies. In Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong, Sikh policemen became known for their honesty and discipline. Wherever they settled, Sikhs were remembered for their hard work, community spirit, and visible identity. This global spread also brought Sikhs into the heart of political movements. In North America, the Ghadar Party was founded in the 19-teens, largely by Sikh migrants. From their base in San Francisco, these revolutionaries printed newspapers, raised funds, and planned uprisings against British rule in India. Though their immediate efforts were suppressed, their vision of freedom inspired later generations of independence leaders. In this way, a small migrant community in California contributed to the larger movement for India's independence. In Britain itself, Sikhs became part of the fabric of society. After the Second World War, many migrated to industrial cities like Birmingham, Leeds, and London, working in factories and transportation. They built gurdwaras that stood proudly in new neighborhoods, introducing Sikh culture to British life. Their children went on to become doctors, lawyers, and politicians. Today, Sikh voices are present in the British Parliament, showing how a community once seen as outsiders became integral to national life. The Sikh influence also reached into culture. Their visible identity, the turban and uncut hair, sparked curiosity and respect wherever they went. In some places, it led to misunderstanding, but in many others it opened conversations about diversity and tolerance. Sikh music, particularly the rhythms of Bhangra, became a global phenomenon. Once tied to Punjabi harvest festivals, Bhangra spread to dance floors in London, Toronto, and New York, blending with hip-hop and reggae to create new cultural expressions. Through music, Sikhs offered joy and energy to the wider world. Economically, Sikh contributions have been significant. In India, Sikh farmers played a central role in the Green Revolution, helping transform Punjab into the breadbasket of the nation. Their agricultural knowledge and resilience ensured food security for millions. Abroad, Sikh entrepreneurs built successful businesses, from small corner shops in England to large corporations in Canada and the United States. They proved that hard work and perseverance could overcome barriers of prejudice and open doors of opportunity. Spiritually, too, Sikhs have given much to the world. The concept of langar, the free community kitchen, has become a global symbol of compassion. In every gurdwara, meals are served to anyone, regardless of background, faith, or status. This tradition has extended into humanitarian work. Sikh charities today organize disaster relief, feed the homeless, and offer aid in times of crisis. In cities like London and Los Angeles, Sikh volunteers can be seen distributing meals to those in need, carrying forward Guru Nanak's vision of equality and service. During global emergencies, from earthquakes to pandemics, Sikhs have stood at the front lines of humanitarian response, offering food, medical aid, and comfort. One of the most profound roles Sikhs have played in global history is as bridge builders between cultures. Living in diverse societies, they have demonstrated how to remain faithful to one's traditions while embracing new identities as citizens of many nations. They show that loyalty to one's homeland and commitment to one's adopted country are not opposites but can coexist harmoniously. This balance has made them respected members of communities around the world. As the 20th century gave way to the 21st, Sikhs continued to leave their mark. From Nobel Prize-winning scientists to Olympic athletes, from political leaders to humanitarian workers, Sikh individuals have carried their heritage into global arenas. Their contributions remind the world that greatness is not measured by numbers but by values. The Sikh story is not just a regional tale of Punjab. It is a global narrative of courage, service, and dignity. Episode 7 closes with an image of the world map. Dots of light where Sikh communities flourish: Amritsar and Ludhiana, Vancouver and Toronto, Nairobi and Kampala, London and Birmingham, San Francisco and New York, Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, Melbourne and Sydney. Each dot represents not only migration but also contribution, not only presence but also influence. The Sikhs, once a community born in the fertile fields of Punjab, have become a people of the world, shaping history far beyond their homeland. History is never only about the past. It is also about what survives, what inspires, and what guides communities into the future. For the Sikhs, whose story began with Guru Nanak on the banks of the Ravi River over 5 centuries ago, heritage is not just a memory, it is a living force. The Sikh legacy today stands at the intersection of tradition and modernity, local roots and global presence, timeless principles and new challenges. At the heart of Sikh heritage is the Guru Granth Sahib, the eternal Guru. Unlike many traditions that rely on a single figure or a single moment, the Sikhs place their faith in a living scripture, a treasury of wisdom, poetry, and divine song. This sacred text, written in Gurmukhi but containing verses from diverse saints, embodies inclusivity, compassion, and spiritual depth. In every Gurdwara, whether in Amritsar or Vancouver, the Guru Granth Sahib rests on a throne beneath a canopy, reminding Sikhs that their guidance is eternal, not bound by geography or time. Another enduring gift is the principle of langar, the community kitchen. Few traditions have such a clear, practical expression of equality. To sit on the floor and share a meal with strangers is to declare that humanity is one family. In today's world, where divisions of wealth, race, and belief continue to divide societies, the Sikh practice of langar stands as a powerful act of resistance against inequality. From disaster relief in India to food drives in Europe and North America, Sikhs continue to embody this value, showing that service to others is at the core of their heritage. Heritage also lives in visible identity. The turban and uncut hair are not simply symbols, but living commitments. They remind Sikhs of their history of courage and their duty to uphold justice and dignity. In modern times, when identity often feels fluid, the Sikh appearance speaks of continuity. It is both a personal expression of faith and a public statement of responsibility. For Sikhs in the diaspora, this visibility has been both a challenge and a strength. While it sometimes invites misunderstanding, it also opens doors for dialogue, respect, and cultural exchange. In an age of globalization, the Sikh identity stands as a testimony that difference need not mean division. The Sikh legacy also includes resilience in the face of hardship. Partition in 1947, migration struggles, and moments of political tension have all tested the community. Yet the Sikhs have consistently shown the ability to rebuild. Villages destroyed were replanted. Homes lost were replaced. Communities uprooted found new soil abroad. This resilience has become part of their heritage, teaching future generations that adversity is not an end, but a call to action. As the Sikhs look toward the future, they face both opportunities and challenges. The global Sikh population is spread across many continents, creating one of the most vibrant diasporas in the world. This global presence offers opportunities for cultural influence, political leadership, and economic success. In nations like Canada and the United Kingdom, Sikhs hold prominent positions in government. In technology and business hubs, Sikh professionals contribute to innovation. In sports and arts, Sikh athletes and musicians share their talents with global audiences. This visibility strengthens their heritage, allowing Sikh values to influence wider societies. At the same time, challenges remain. Questions of identity grow more complex in a globalized world. Younger generations of Sikhs, born in New York, Toronto, Nairobi, or Sydney, often balance two identities: the heritage of their ancestors and the culture of their homeland. Some wonder how much tradition to carry, how to maintain language, and how to live out their values in societies that may not fully understand them. The future of Sikh heritage depends on finding creative ways to pass on tradition without losing relevance. Schools, digital media, and cultural organizations now play a vital role in ensuring that the songs of the gurus continue to echo in young hearts. Another challenge lies in addressing social and environmental issues. Punjab, the Sikh homeland, faces concerns of water scarcity, pollution, and migration pressures. The same land that once gave abundance now calls for careful stewardship. The Sikh principle of living in harmony with creation offers guidance here. To see the divine in air, water, and earth is to recognize the duty of care for the environment. In this way, Sikh heritage has the power to inspire ecological responsibility in an age of climate change. The global stage also presents challenges of representation. Too often, small communities risk being overlooked in international conversations. Yet the Sikhs, despite their modest numbers, continue to amplify their voice through service, leadership, and education. Their role in humanitarian aid, their contributions to agriculture and science, and their commitment to equality ensure that their presence will not be forgotten. The challenge for the future is not only to preserve heritage within the community, but also to share it meaningfully with the wider world. Heritage, however, is not static. It is a dialogue between past and present. For Sikhs, this means holding fast to eternal values, faith in one Creator, equality of all people, service to humanity, while adapting practices to changing circumstances. The turban may now be seen on international stages. The sound of kirtan may stream online to global audiences. Langar may feed the homeless in cities far from Punjab. These are not losses of tradition. They are extensions of it. The future of Sikh heritage will also be shaped by storytelling. Just as Guru Nanak's travels were remembered through song and verse, today's Sikhs have new tools: film, literature, podcasts, and digital media. By sharing their stories, they ensure that the world sees not only their struggles but also their contributions, joys, and hopes. Storytelling is not merely remembering the past, it is building bridges into the future. Episode 8 closes with an image of continuity. In Amritsar, pilgrims gather at the Golden Temple as sunlight dances on the waters of the Saravar. In London, volunteers serve langar beneath the sound of traffic outside. In Nairobi, children recite verses of the Guru Granth Sahib in a gurdwara painted with bright colors. In California, young Sikhs organize food drives for the homeless. In Punjab, farmers bend over green fields, their turbans catching the breeze. Across time and space, one spirit unites them: the eternal spirit of service, courage, and equality. The Sikh story began with a simple message: there is one Creator, and all humanity is one. Centuries later, that message still shines, guiding the community forward. Heritage is not only what the Sikhs have inherited, it is also what they will pass on. And as the world changes, the Sikh spirit remains, eternal and unbroken, ready to shape the future with compassion, resilience, and faith. And so, from the quiet voice of Guru Nanak on the banks of the Ravi River to the vibrant Sikh communities across every continent today, this journey shows us one timeless truth: resilient service and faith can outlast every empire. The Sikh story is not only about the past, it is a living legacy that continues to inspire the future. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Share it with others so the world remembers the courage and compassion of the Sikhs. And for more powerful journeys into history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because more untold stories are waiting for you.